conditions. So could you address where we are with that and how that money that would have been normally spent back at 2008 3-year plan is now being considered as we move forward with the considerations that you're being asked or you're asking of us tonight?
Sure. Could you be more specific in what you're asking in terms of dollars and cents?
Well, we had a contribution that was to be put towards the building of the sewage treatment plant out on the Swamp Creek, which of course can't be built at this particular time, but it was still something that was part of the agreement at the time of the preliminary approval. There were contributions also to, I think, emergency services and other things that had value. So if we were to take and reconsider some of those, why is it that now we're being asked to, add more density and other considerations that you're making on that plan, which probably will cost us in terms of whether it's a vision or the reality of the expenditures that would come about. How is it we have kind of forgotten that? I guess is my question to you at this particular time.
Yeah, so the emergency services commitment is still there, and we're able to start construction, and I believe the way it reads, it might be paid a building permit, so when we get to that stage, we're happy to pay that contribution.
But how about the sewage treatment plant? That was a very costly item that seems to have been forgotten in this process as well.
I think the sewage treatment plant at the time was discussed with a number of different developers, and they were all working together. So that piece has gone away with a number of those projects, and so we're looking at alternative ways to solve the problem today.
Given Ward 13, Second Avenue, you're saying you're working with a number of different alternatives, but you haven't brought us any alternatives.
Yes,
You've been telling us, right. So if you had, or your grandfather in, right now you're asking us to approve more time, well, that more time should add the new zoning, not the old zoning, the new zoning. Right? We're going to be more costly if we do it, unless you pull up your end of the deals here.
Yeah, sure. So we've come in front of multiple boards. We've been in front of the planning commission, the supervisors, a number of times over the last 2 years, and every time we're in front of them, we do bring in new potential solutions, and we continue that conversation, at least in my perspective.
I've seen whole communities go up in a year. This is the longest stretch I've ever seen 45,000 go up.
I'm with you.
Chuck Geiser, head of the Planning Commission. I found out Friday afternoon, just like everybody else, what's going on tonight. So first thing is to go forward. Your conditional use, you agreed to build a 100,000 gallon sewer treatment plant. There's no other developer's name in there. So we had meetings over the last year, many meetings, and it was never brought up that you needed 60 homes to build a pumping station until now. I think that's a little disingenuous. So I want to know, where is this going to end? If they give you an extension, where is this going to end? Do you understand my frustration? I don't have a problem with a pumping station. I'm all on board with them. I'm all on board. I'm a civil engineer. I understand these things. But what I don't like is to feel like I'm working across the aisle or across the table with somebody who's not being honest with how this process is going. We have, you'll see me come up here in a little while, I'm going to talk about another development for 50 homes. Ernie's a little bit off. That involves 80-some acres for 50 homes. All right? Don't compare the two. So, that's going through. Right? We got through preliminary, or I should say sketch plan review. That's moving along. It's not like our planning commission has anything against development. But where we're running into a roadblock with you time and time again is things keep changing, or we're not getting the full story. That's my frustration. And I'm all for trying to make this work. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. So I apologize for the frustration. That's obviously not on our part. If you go back a number of years, there was an idea of putting in an interceptor line along the road. And for that, we were looking for 85 homes. And that was up for discussion, and we heard loud and clear that that was not something the town was looking to do at that point. This board is obviously a different board than was in place back at that point. We have new members and now new solutions. And so we've talked about a number of different scenarios. One of the scenarios we've always talked about is, do we build a pump station on someone else's property or
Right.
somewhere else? What we never actually got to was the math of how do you pay for it? And
But that's all part of it. I mean, why show us plans with only 40-some homes on it if you know in your heart you need 60? You're just wasting everybody's time.
well, so let me describe it this way.
I don't know how everybody else in the planning commission feels about it, but that's the way I feel about it.
So 47 homes with 47 grinder pumps is fine with us. But we're looking to say, hey, is there another potential solution that we can help contribute to that can be for the greater good of the community?
Right, but when we were talking about not grinder pumps, but having a pump station on the low point of Salford Station Road, which as a civil engineer, I thought was a better alternative.
Sure.
Why didn't you bring up that you needed extra density? Hey guys, before you go too far and spinning your wheels, we're gonna need a lot more density.
So perhaps we didn't specifically talk about density?
We should have.
What we talked about was who's going to pay for it? And that was a subject of meetings.
We don't have the money to pay for it. I've seen the sewer budget, we don't have the money to pay for it.
And so we're giving a suggestion on how to pay for it. We pay
Right.
for it with some additional homes.
I'm just, I want to work with you, but I want to feel like we're having a give and take where we're moving in a direction where we can resolve this. That's my personal feeling. Other planning commission members may feel differently. But I am very troubled by the way this whole thing came into being, and learning on Friday or whatever day it was that somebody passed me the zoning hearing thing to see that you're trying to upend our whole zoning, which I don't like to do. Thank you.
Yes.
Doris once again, 19 South Station Road. I've lived here over 50 years, and I'd like to keep it country too, but there's health problems, number one. And if I had come to a meeting, I'm not exactly sure when, but it was within the past year, and there was an engineer that spoke about the different sewage systems and the alternatives. And he did not like the low pressure system because it wasn't as efficient. And Carol Schuler agreed with that. And I had heard reports of one over in the Quakertown area where they failed. So what do you have to weigh your options here. And there's people's health involved, not just the money. And the amount of houses, that's up to the township. But something needs to be done. And if this is the opportune time to do that, in order to clear up this health issue, I think we should look into it and solve the problem, one way or the other.
Yes.
Yes.
Ruth Hall, Swamp Creek Road. I have two questions for the solicitor, Mr. Tucker. Did I hear you correctly? You said you are advising a 6-month extension?
Correct.
What's the reasoning for 6 months versus a year?
To keep the developer on a short leash, as has been noted, it's been 12 years since it was approved. We want to see the project move forward, but at the same sense, we want to continue the dialogue.
And my second question is, if we go about looking at the second plan and the new septic and all that, do the variances that have to be granted make it sticky as precedent for every future development that comes in? Do they? So if we grant variances for this plan, doesn't that have to be then looked at for every future plan that?
So, just a quick,
I wasn't asking for a weather report.
just to clarify something, the township's wouldn't be, the board of supervisors wouldn't be granting anything in terms of variances. They don't have to be, it's an application right now. There hasn't been a hearing scheduled. scheduled yet. Under the municipality's planning code, there must be a hearing by November, I don't know the exact date, but early November. I'm uncomfortable getting into the substance of the variance application, just because it's an independent body, and we have to review it. I'm sure the township will take a position at that hearing if it comes to fruition. But in terms of a precedent, no. Any decision by the zoning hearing board doesn't bind the board with future developments.
It doesn't. So we put 60 homes on there now to get this septic system working properly. It's not going to make it sticky for the future?
Again, I don't want to get into the substance, but just because you grant a variance for A doesn't mean you grant a variance for B. Everything's independent of each other.
Thank you.
Linda?
Ms. Jansen, Cemetery, I would like to address the concerns of Ms. Presidio, and Mrs. Swanson, Brian Hill. In our Act 537 plan, there are other alternative options to correct the problem out on Sigurdsville Road. There is the West Route option 2 at a cost of $136,000. And that's on page 26 of the Act 537. On page 27 of the Act 537 plan, there is a option, it's also option 2, that will correct the problems on the corner of Southern Station and Schwank Road, that ultimately tie into the Arcadia Station development. That's at a cost of $450,000. You combine those two projects, that is less than $1 million. All of the other options, the interceptors and pump stations and things like that, you're asking for $2-3 million in perpetual maintenance to these pump stations. There are solutions. They are just not exploring them. So please don't believe that your only option is the pump stations and interceptors. There are several options in here. So I appreciate the health concerns and the issues, but it seems that no one is exploring the lesser expensive options. So the next time, that perhaps maybe that's what you need to ask your township administration to look at. This could be done much sooner than a giant interceptor with pump stations, and a lot cheaper too. Thank you.
So you're saying that in order to pay for the pump station, you have to increase the number of houses by almost a third in order to cover the cost of the pump station. Is that correct?
So one of the things we're looking at is acquiring an additional piece of ground parcel, right? So part of the expense is not only building the pump station, it's also buying a piece of ground. You know, one thing that we haven't gotten to today, discussed, is that piece of property, what could it be developed as? And as part of this scenario, perhaps what we do is we buy a piece of ground and then put a conservation easement over it. So we say that piece of ground can no longer be developed. And so whatever we pay for the ground, that's part of that whole math problem. But let's just say you buy a piece of property where you could potentially develop it for 8 or 10 homes. We would then conserve that piece of ground. And so when we're saying we want to go from 47 to 60, and although that's 13 homes, it might only in reality be 4 or 5 more homes than you would perhaps otherwise see if you were to develop a piece of property.
Okay, so that brings me to my next point. Every time they develop a new piece of farmland in this township, we run into bigger problems with regards to flooding. So what you're saying is you're buying another piece of parcel and you're going to conserve it so that potentially could eliminate or help eliminate some of the flooding.
That's correct.
And you would never, that would never be used for development.
That's correct. It would be deed restricted against it.
Okay. All right, now, my next question is anybody, I mean, I know we're talking about sewers, but has anybody considered about impact that this has on community. We already have a problem with commuting in this community. I recently moved back. I grew up here. I recently moved back, and I have to tell you, it takes me 30 minutes to go from 73 at the bridge, where it's 29, to the circle to pick up my daughter. I work in Bluebell. I have to leave an hour and 15 minutes to go 17 and a half miles. 30 minutes of that is because of that stretch. So when you add 46 homes, you're adding 92 more cars, potentially more if there's too many drivers. If they add 60, that's 120 drivers all trying to get home down a 2-lane street at the same time in rush hour. I think that's as big of a problem as the sewer issue. And I think that should be considered and should be addressed.
And your name is Melanie?
Maren, M-A-R-R-E-N, and I live on Forest Lane.
Forest Lane?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question for the solicitor. If the zoning board approves whatever, and any number of additional homes with that zoning could be allowed on the property, under Stella, doesn't they have to come back to the planning commission anyway for approval?
I don't want to speak out of turn. I have not reviewed the zoning hearing board application except for review of the date that was accepted by the township. So I don't know the answer to your question.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Terry Bird, Little Road. So just so much in. Even if they don't extend it or extend it tonight, you still plan to go to the zoning hearing with the variance that you're asking for?
I think if they were to grant an extension on our current approval from 2008, we would grant an extension to that hearing date so we could continue the conversation.
You still might go forward with the variances?
We might or we might not, but I think we would just continue.
Has the current board reviewed the variances? And how do you feel about that? How do you feel if they're going to zoning hearings versus going through the normal channels? So in December of 2018, we heard you're not interested in going to reduce lot sizes. You were okay with 10,000. You did not want to go through the forested area, tear down the forest, but houses. I love the plan. You didn't want to impact the little road, backyard setbacks. You did that. How does the board feel about the variances that they want?
I guess I'm the only one who's going to speak here. I'm against it, and I'm not even sure that there's jurisdiction for the zoning hearing board, since these are self-created hardships. You've created your own hardship by changing the plan. You're asking for relief from a hardship you have created by changing the plan. I also have an issue with your neighborhood open space concept that you're conflating with open space. So I think there's some problems with going to zoning, and it feels like you're trying to pressure the board into making a decision. I mean, if you can't afford to do a pumping station, which is your preferred solution, that is not the township's problem. That is your problem. If you want to build a pumping station to serve your 47 homes instead of your original approved solution, and that is your expense, not our expense. We are not required to give you benefits because you can't afford or you do not want to pay for a pumping station instead of the original solution. And you're asking for about 8 or 9 variances, which each one individually really changes our community view.
Sure, so let me be clear about it. Our preference is not to build a pump station. Our preference is to add 47 private pumps. That would be our preference. It's the simplest solution for us. But at the same time, we understand, we're hearing, I'm sitting here hearing two sides to a story, right? There's some residents that I'm hearing are favoring the pump station and favoring us doing this work. Then I hear some residents that are against it, and I hear both sides of the argument, and we're here to potentially work with everyone and come up with a solution that can be acceptable.
Our residents are in favor of having their sewage problem solved. It is not, there's more than one way to skin this cat. There are other solutions for residents' failing systems other than this. which again, someone asked a question about cost and benefit. There's a huge cost, and there's very little benefit to us for this.
Yes, George.
I have a question for the gentleman again. So you're proposing 47 grinder pumps, right? I mean, typically new houses have a gravity flow system to them. So when you propose to sell these houses, those grinder pumps are the new homeowner's responsibility, correct?
So I have a community that I'm building currently in the Lehigh Valley, right outside of, right near the airport. It's in Northampton Borough and North Campasacca Borough. And 164 single-family homes. Half the project could have been served by gravity. Those municipalities specifically asked for 164 gravity homes. And so that's a community that I'm building currently. In that scenario, the homeowners are responsible for the individual pump, and then the homeowners association is responsible for the enforcement in the erosion of the pump.
So they know that's going in, right? So that's something that's on the deed or whatever?
Correct.
All right, so do you stand behind your product for any length of time?
So they can get a new home warranty, yes.
For a year?
In that situation, so I'm not the builder, I'm only the developer, and so that in that situation, I'm selling lots to Ryan Homes, and they would be the builder that would offer a
Right,
warranty.
so typically it's a year.
Yeah, I can answer that.
So our grinder pumps, what, 14 grand? So how many millennials do you think know anything about a grinder pump? None. Okay. When people flush a toilet or do their dishes or whatever, and water goes down the drainage, rivers going to the sewer system, they don't know anything about grinder pumps. I'm just saying that 47 grinder pumps probably going to be a big potential problem, especially in this area. So the pumping station on your site pumping into a gravity flow system might be a better scenario. Just saying.
Jerry Rockfield Road. Just real quick, I feel like I keep hearing basically a threat. The threat is either you guys can approve this this deal, or I would do 47 grinder pumps. 47 grinder pumps. I think that's like what's being held over our head a little bit. And that's my one point. I just like to point out. Number two, I'm highly disappointed that we haven't heard from 2 of the 3 supervisors that are elected to represent us as a community.
I'm sorry, can I get your name again, sir?
Jerry Rockets, Little Road. Last name is R-O-C-K-S.
Sorry.
We keep hearing about 47 grinder pumps. Please tell us what you're currently approved for.
So the current approved plan shows a gravity line that connects it to Little Road, roughly 20.
Yeah, so you're not approved for 47 grinder pumps at all. Is that correct?
That is correct. Currently.
Thank you.
Bill Smith, 205 Burlock Road. My recommendation to the board is that you table this issue, send it to the planning commission for a healthy discussion about how we can solve some of these neighbors' problems, as well as address a cost analysis that you would come to the planning commission with for a proposal for a pumping station down there, and we can kind of weigh out and make a recommendation at a future time to the board of supervisors, so you can make a more intelligent decision than be rushed into tonight.